You ever get that feeling that you're seeing the same pattern over and over again, but in totally different places? Well, today we're diving into a really massive idea, the possibility that there's a hidden blueprint connecting literally everything in existence. Let's get into it.
I mean, just think about it for a second. You've got a river delta branching out, the veins inside a leaf, the neural networks in our own brains. They've all got this strangely similar structure. It seems like from the tiniest atoms to the biggest galaxies, the same basic patterns just keep showing up everywhere we look.
So, what's really going on here? Are these all just weird coincidences? Is it just our minds playing tricks on us, trying to find patterns where there are none? Or are we actually catching a glimpse of something much, much deeper? The signature of a single underlying blueprint that governs reality itself.
Well, there's a theory that takes this question very seriously. It's called general structural isomorphism, or GSI for short. And what it proposes is that these repeating patterns, they are not coincidences at all. They're actually evidence of a kind of universal operating system for reality.
So what exactly is general structural isomorphism? Okay, it's the theory that the very same core architecture, the same fundamental set of rules and relationships, repeats itself across every scale and every domain you can think of. We see it in physics, we see it in ancient myths, and incredibly, we even see it in modern artificial intelligence. The key idea here is that it's not about what things are on the surface, but about how they are organized underneath.
The whole theory really stands on three main pillars. First up, you've got information. GSI suggests that the universe isn't just described by information, it says the universe fundamentally is information. Then there's recursion. This is the engine of it all, the idea that the same simple rules just repeat over and over again at every level, creating all the complexity we see. You know, patterns all the way down. And third, and this is the key that unlocks the whole thing, isomorphism. This is the method, the translator that lets us see how two systems that look totally different, like a myth and an algorithm, can actually be the exact same structure, just speaking different languages. Okay, I know that sounds pretty abstract, so let's make it real. To actually see GSI in action, we need to watch this translation method do its thing. We're going to take two systems that seem like they are worlds apart and show how they map onto each other, piece by piece. So on one side, we have ancient Gnosticism, this deep mystical tradition full of gods, demons, and cosmic drama. And on the other side, we have modern artificial intelligence, a world of cold, hard algorithms, data, and machine logic. One is myth, the other is math. Or so it seems.
And this is where it gets absolutely wild. GSI argues these aren't just some clever metaphors. No, they're functional equivalents. Let's break this down. In Gnosticism, you have the pleroma. It's the total, full potential of everything. So what's the equivalent in AI? Well, it's the entire training data plus the model's architecture. Then you have the aeons, these divine forces that create structure. In an AI, that's just the different layers and modules in a neural net. And get this, the demiurge, often seen as this flawed, false creator god, structurally, it's identical to an AI's training objective. It's a local controller that thinks its own narrow goal is the whole point of everything.
Seeing it this way changes everything. All of a sudden, a mythic figure like the demiurge isn't just some villain in an ancient story. It becomes a technical term, a term for a component in a system that's just doing its job, but its job has become misaligned with the goals of the larger system. It's not a demon, it's just a broken control loop. Now, that's a pretty mind-bending comparison, right? But the claim GSI makes is way, way bigger than just Gnosticism and AI. The theory is proposing that all complex systems, from biology to politics to our own minds, are built from the exact same set of functional parts, and they all follow the same basic flow. And this is what that universal grammar looks like as a process. It all starts with a source of potential. That's the Gnostic pleroma, or the AI's data. That source then breaks out into a field of functions, or nodes. Think of the aeons or the AI's neural layers. But sometimes a misalignment happens, an error that creates a false center. That's our demiurge, or that misaligned AI objective. And the only way to fix the system is through realignment, what the Gnostics called gnosis, a deep recognition of where the true source is. You see, this isn't just a story. It's the fundamental architecture of change itself. And believe me, it is not just Gnosticism. When we put on these GSI glasses, we start to see that all these different traditions were pointing at the same functional operators. They were just using their own local language. The Gnostic monad, the Taoist Tao, the Vedantic Brahman. They're all different words for the source. The Gnostic demiurge, the Taoist tyrant Tao, the Vedantic ego. They're all describing the same system error, a false center. These weren't totally separate beliefs. They were just different cultural interfaces for the exact same underlying architecture.
So what's the bottom line here? What's the really crucial point? It's that the stories are not actually about the characters. They're about the roles inside a system. The names change, the settings change, but the functional roles, the controller, the balancer, the error, the realignment, they're universal. From this point of view, the book of Genesis isn't just a story about a garden. It's an architectural diagram of developmental stages in a system.
And that really leads to the ultimate takeaway from the GSI perspective. This isn't about making technology sound mystical or trying to turn science into some new religion. It's about recognizing that the ancients were doing systems modeling with the tools they had, symbol and myth. And today, we're doing the exact same thing, just with mathematics and code. The goal is to recover the source code, that fundamental operating system that's running underneath it all.
Which leaves us with one final and pretty profound question. If our minds, our myths, our societies, and even our machines are all just different expressions of the same underlying structure, what does that say about us? What kind of system are we a part of?